Yay, welcome everybody. Welcome to Pandion Music Foundation. We're excited to have you all here. And we are Pandion Music. I know most of you know who we are, but we're a 501c3 nonprofit. We just were legally established in January. We had launched in October of last year. And our organization is founded by music creators for music creators. We're a free online platform empowering artists as they navigate the music industry. We offer educational resources and workshops, wellness guidance, and direct access to experts, helping to provide a constant thread of support for music creators for all of us. So welcome, I'm excited you're here. And want to introduce to you Jared. Jared is a music producer from Los Angeles. Yay! We got to get together, Jared, who specializes in sync licensing for hip hop and R&B. When he's not producing music, Jared finds joy in mentoring, speaking to students, and volunteering. And why don't you give yourself another little introduction to everybody? Mine
Yes,
was just a basic.
I mean, I don't really like to be long-winded with things. And that's even like my PowerPoint slide is like real quick because I really want to make sure I answer any questions anybody else has because we're here for them. So, born and raised in Los Angeles, music came to me because my mom and dad grew up in church. They sung, still play. Every house we had pianos or a set of drums, guitar, something in there. I don't know how, but I became shy to sing or like to perform in public. So I'm not sure where that came from, but I figured that there was a niche for people to learn certain things and um, realize that I say things differently in hopes to, capture people and help and support what we're doing. So 2017, I didn't know what sync licensing was, but I was like, yo, I want to start making custom jingles for companies, like not knowing what sync licensing was. Fast forward 2020, that's when I like actually found out what sync licensing was. And I was like, oh, this is the stuff I've been trying to do. And I'm kind of like an anomaly because my first placement or first song with sync licensing was with an actual music supervisor. And so it was kind of like a real big jump for me. And so since then, it's like, okay, cool. I need to learn more. I don't want to just do this and just guess or be lucky. I actually want to know what I'm doing. So got more involved. Took a course with Ashley Newmeister and just been, joining Pandion. I've been on a lot of your all workshops and stuff like that. So I was like, yo, this is great. Like this is tight. Like so just definitely been blessed to be like more involved in the community. So here I am.
Thank you. Yeah, Jared. So Jared, just a little backstory, reached out to us, what about, hip hop and R&B, a workshop on this. And we're like, hey, what about you? And so yeah, so you kind of invited this. We had it in our plans to be more specific, eventually, and in certain genres. But this is great. You're spearheading it off. So, and this is a place that keeps getting this genre keeps getting asked for in from our agencies and from our music supervisors. If any of you have been part of the groups, which I know I've seen a lot of you in some of the groups, music groups, like whether it's 2Indie or Sam's Recording Academy or there's a few others, if they always mention, like if they have a guest on, that we're always looking for R&B, we're always looking for hip hop, and especially the combination of having a little bit of both works really well as well. So would you like to kind of start us off with your take on that, and how where how being in LA and having parents who probably inspired you. And of course, when you grow up in LA, I mean, I didn't grow up in LA, but I've been in LA for a long time. you notice that so many people around you are musicians or are, music creators. It's very inspiring. It's also, in the beginning, for me, very intimidating because I was a musician when I was little, started, and I moved from Santa Fe, New Mexico. So when I was in LA, where everybody here is so talented, and so can you give us like you know, your version of coming into this genre and how you make it work with licensing?
Um, I would say it's just a natural thing that comes to me. Just growing up in South Central, it's well, actually, it's funny enough. My neighbors were Latino, and I grew up around like alternative punk, Blink-182, Rage Against the Machine, Korn, Green Day, No Doubt, and stuff like that. So it's kind of weird how I just like transformed. But like you said, like a lot of my peers are creators in the hip hop space, and so it's kind of like organic for me to just also fuse into that same department of music. As far as sync licensing is, a lot of sports is, hip hop based, reality TV, hip hop based, um, and just like, is growing even more because they just had like a whole shedding of light on the 50th year of hip hop, so a lot of more people are like, yo, yeah, we need to do more to honor it and to pay homage and things of that nature. So it's kind of like a thing that's just evolving all the time. Even though like hip hop changes, like whether it's like some 808s or just straight 90s hip hop or early 2000s, early 2000s, it's all just relevant still to hip hop, talking about your lifestyle and how you grew up most of the time. And then just, finding its way into like different ads, commercials, different radio streams and things of that nature. So
Right. And then when you're, with hip hop and with especially you, there's a lot of freedom to, tell a story or tell your story because you can you're kind of going there with how the song is coming out. And so what do you, when you write with hip hop in mind, do you follow like a theme, or do you just have something from a personal place that you begin from, or do you usually co-write with somebody who helps you with the lyrics?
Um, so I have a weird way. I wouldn't call it weird, but I have a way of going about making music. So if I'm not producing the record, I get music from my brother, who's a great producer, and I know quality. So I'm like, yo, you have quality, bro. Like sometimes, or a lot of times, you're better than me. So just feed me beats. And so I don't even want to hear them first. I load it up into Pro Tools, and so I have fresh ears, and then I just go ahead and just freestyle whatever comes to me, whether that's mumbling, coming up with a melody, and then I place whatever that sounds great, and then piece it up, and next, I have a song. And sometimes the demo sounds better than the actual like recreated song because the energy is there, and sometimes I cannot create that same energy. So like a lot of times it's like demo based, but it sounds great because you can feel the emotion in what I was saying.
Right, right. I love that you have that ear for good quality, and that makes you a great collaborator. And would you say producer, co-producer? Do you like to co-produce or?
I'm open to it. I don't have a lot of people that I co-produce with, for the simple fact that I have to make sure I vet the people I work with to make sure there's no royalty-free loops because in sync licensing, that's not a thing for me at least. Some people honor it. I don't personally, just because somebody may ask for the actual individual stems. And if one of the individual stems is a guitar loop from Splice or something like that, we have to license that and we don't own that. So that's a whole different kind of contract that you might have some stipulations with, and I don't want to deal with anything. So everything is custom made. Like,
Yeah, that's the best way to go, and that's the advice we keep getting repeatedly over and over again, especially as an indie artist, in any genre. So I know you have a presentation that you want to begin with. Are you ready
yeah,
to?
sure, let's do it. Let's do it.
Hey, great.
All right, let's take me
Exciting.
back to my high school days where we had PowerPoint presentations. Okay, let me see if this works. Okay, so I have number one. Okay, cool. Um, is that blown up good enough, or should I blow up a little more?
I can read it. Is everybody good with
Uh,
it?
Yeah.
is it covering the whole screen?
It looks
Yeah.
good.
All right,
Yeah,
cool.
it looks like a little bit of text is cut off from the side though,
Oh,
just like the licensing.
not make it cut off, but all right, well, I'll just do what I can, if that's a
All right.
thing.
Yeah, that's fine.
So life skills and sync licensing. I know a lot of people, see different licensing Zoom meetings and workshops and things of that nature, but I want to talk into like the life skills part about not just having like quality music, but also like being the person who actually has to reach out and do emails and meet people at conferences and things of that nature. And that's what matters more, at least to me, is having a personal relationship or some type of interaction with people that makes more sense. So that's that one. So what is life skills? Having awareness outside of yourself, creating value, building organic relationships and sharing resources, and also being able to adapt to new environments and thrive. So when I say having awareness outside of yourself and creating value, it's pretty much like we all know what we want as our own individual person, but also who are we serving and what do other people want as well, and how can we actually create value within that environment. Building organic relationships and sharing resources. So when I build relationships, it's not just like, oh, okay, what can you do for me? Or what do you have that I can gain from that? It's more like, okay, how can we exchange? How can I be an asset to you? I already know you're an asset, but how can I also bring value and support what you already have going on? And so usually that works for me from hand-in-hand experience, and being able to adapt to new environments and thrive. So if I'm somewhere new and I'm not really sure how to, talk to somebody or network with somebody, if I like their shoes, if I like their earrings, if I like the way their hair is, I'm probably going to comment on something organically in whatever environment I'm in to make sure like, okay, cool. Like I really do like what you're doing. I really do like that. And then it causes some type of like commonality or relationship that can be built from there. And then is this cut off a lot or what?
Just the end a bit, but it looks good.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. That's better.
Okay, boom. All right, look, y'all, look, I'm trying. Okay, cool. So what is your superpower? Things you know that you're good at. So if you know that you're good at building hooks, building the vamp, the bridge inside of a studio session, or building with others, like what are you good at? And also what do your peers say that you're good at? So there's two different things, one that you know within yourself, and then another that others are saying that you're good at, and then you take those and be like, okay, great. So what is it, genre specific? Is it that you're good at social media, finding SEO, which is like finding a lot of different like search engines and finding what's keywords and discoverability? Are you good in some type of tech? Are you good at hosting? Things of that nature. You want to hone in to whatever those things are that you're good at, whatever other people say, and then take that into account and then move on from there and grow and enhance in that. Okay. Building relationships. Let me see if I can get that all in the slide. Okay. So that says building organic relationships. So whether that's online, like events like this, everyone's here, Pandion, different conferences. I think the next one that's coming up is the PMA, the Production Music Awards or a Production Music Conference in October.
Yeah.
So you guys might want to check that out, Google that, or taking a course, things like that, where you can actually build organic relationships with your peers, and even staff. And then now that you know your strengths, how do you present that in real time? Okay, so being aware of things that are outside of yourself. And what I mean by that is like, okay, cool, that's the video. So things like, okay, cool, maybe we don't have a shortcoming, but maybe somebody else does. How do we, cater to them? How do we make ourselves stand out and actually become somebody of, okay, you need some water. It looks like it's hot, or somebody wasted something. Let me go clean that up. Many times in sessions, I used to be in a lot of different studio sessions, um, working with different artists and producers. And these were like sometimes A-list or B-list celebrities in there. And I'm like, okay, how do I find my place in this room where, nobody knows me. And so I'm just like, yo, anybody want some water? And then like everybody looks at me like, yo, what is he an intern here or something? Like, and then they're like, hey, bro, what'd you say your name was? And so all of a sudden, people start to notice me because I was hospitable. I asked, if anybody needed anything. I wasn't trying to be better than anybody and be like, no, y'all got to come to me and I'm the best. So it's all that ego stuff is, it will actually like just trump a lot of stuff for you. It's kind of like how people say reading the room. And when you hear that, it can mean a lot. But for me, it's just like read gestures, mannerisms, listening to if somebody says something, can you catch on to what they said and adapt to that and make that something? Listening and having that as a factor to make it easier for others. People like to work with people they like, and they like to work with people that's easy to work with. So if that's you and you're doing collaborations in whatever setting, it could be at a studio, it can be at a restaurant, it can be hosting a party. It's if you're easy to work with, people are going to remember that and always want to work with you again, rather than that person that's always have an attitude and, oh man, this person doing this and this. It's just like, all right, I get it, but let's stay a little, positive. Let's stay on task, and let's actually get the job done. So all that stuff matters. Okay. And then I have a thing that I call submission alignment. So that's pretty much like if I'm reaching out to a supervisor or a music library, I am going to do my research and I'm going to check out whatever representation that they have on their artist roster and be like, okay, I see that they're doing a lot of jazz. I'm probably not a good fit for this library. I'm probably not a good fit for this music supervisor because I don't do jazz. So I'll go and see, okay, where is somebody that does hip hop or R&B, maybe even a little pop. I do a little pop every now and then. So I'll look for things of that nature and see how I can be of help or support to them. So researching who you're interested in. I got a story where I was on Instagram one time and there was a supervisor that posted sushi. They like on their Instagram, it was like a bunch of sushi on there. And I'm just like, okay, I see exactly what this person likes to eat. So I went to a conference. I actually saw the person. I was like, hey, I know you. You like the sushi. The eyes that lit up when I said that, and he was like, yo, what? Like, who are you? And we just started talking about sushi. We didn't even talk about music. And so we created a relationship based off of relatability, based off something that they like, based on something that they were interested in. So things like that, they can go so far, they can mean so much. And I think that's why I'm really doing like this life skills thing, because it's not always about the music. It's about like the person, like the relationships, how they make you feel and things of that nature, because that goes a long way farther. I can almost guarantee you that like 85 to 90% of the executives that I know personally probably haven't heard my music. But I got a lot of emails, I got numbers. Hey, hit me up. Then you haven't even heard my stuff, bro. So it's kind of like that's an experience for me. It might be different for everybody else, but I've just grown to just be a likable person, and to sit back when it's not time to talk, I won't. When it's time to talk, that's when I insert myself. And so that's a part of like life skills and how things just flow, and just knowing like, when to take your time, when it is your time and when it's not your time. All those things matter. And I don't know like where anybody's, journey is right now, but some of you may be doing this for like 10 years or 5 years, and they just like, yo, when am I going to catch my break? Like I've been working hard, like it's coming. I don't know when. We don't know when, but like the main thing is this consistency, making sure you're building your relationships and making sure you're building your value for yourself. Because if you don't have that, you really don't have anything else. You just have music, and then like that's cool. But when you go to sleep at night or when you go out, you need to make sure that you feel great within yourself. And that's what matters way much more. And then sometimes it might come out through your music as well. So keep that in mind. I don't know if anybody's asking questions right now because I can't see the chat, but I hope somebody's like taking notes or something so we can come back to it.
Yeah, we can come back to it.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay. If anybody has a question right now, I mean, we can get to it if you want, or we can wait till after. It's up to you.
I think I saw a question earlier in the chat. So I'll just pop it back up here. Joanne Mayer, do you see more use for lo-fi hip hop? And then I think that's the only question we have right now.
Okay, I haven't seen any really uses for lo-fi hip hop. I would say that's more of a thing. If you do lo-fi, I would say to reach out to playlist curators for that, because that's where it really, really matters. Like the YouTube channels, Spotify. I think it's hard to get on like Apple and stuff. I think you have to know somebody there. But make sure you also upload to, what is it? Pandora. I know a lot of people like probably like, man, Pandora, that's 15 years ago. But like people still use Pandora. And a buddy of mine, like, he told me that you have to actually register with Pandora separately. So if you're on DistroKid or United Masters or TuneCore, I think you have to go off site and go to actually Pandora and like actually register your music there. Because you just never know what other streams you can get and who's looking for you or what playlist you can get on. So me personally, I haven't seen much any ask for lo-fi hip hop, but definitely it's definitely a thing, because we have students, we have people taking naps and sleeping, and people go to sleep to that type of music. So definitely check that out.
And I think that was it for the questions on the chat. But if anyone else has any questions, maybe right now we can take a second. If you want, either raise your hand or just go ahead and unmute.
They said, nah, bro, we just listening.
Someone said lo-fi is getting synced just as jazz.
Okay, and jazz is coming back. Like I said, I can't personally. Yeah, I
I'm
can't
sorry
speak
to
for lo-fi.
interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead, speak since you're here. Go ahead.
Jared, I love you.
Thank you.
Modern jazz movement is up, guys. I'm gonna be very honest with you, and it's kind of manifesting as a lo-fi. So thank you for whoever asked that. I have seen lo-fi getting placed as like chill hip hop or jazz. So I want you guys to look into playlistings and placements in that manner, because not everyone has the creative range to, understand how to create I should say describe the music they're listening to. And so definitely look into playlists that are doing a lot of modern jazz movements between Cecile McLaurin Salvance, what's that? Samara Joy made it. She made it. Another one, Alexis Morast, who is coming out of Berkeley. Huge jazz movement between Telemachus, Butcher Brown, cartoons, good stuff. So definitely just keep an ear open, keep an eye open, and try to remember that, yeah, sometimes it gets described differently in the music libraries. That's the trick. Yeah, they'll be like, oh, yeah, we're looking for some jazz. And then you give them that jazz, and they'll be like, no, not that type of jazz, not that Coltrane jazz. We want the new cool kids jazz. And then you're like, here. And then they're like, yeah, okay, you want lo-fi. You just don't know that it's called lo-fi yet. So good luck to everybody.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for that, Erica, for letting us know. So yeah, like I said, I only know what I know personally. So we had somebody else who has a different experience in open insight to that. So I'm glad you guys were able to get that information. But yeah, jazz is coming back. There was something recently released, I think, with Ashley Tamar. She's a music supervisor. She did like a whole jazz project with Kamasi Washington, Terrace Martin, and a few other musicians, and a lot of them are in LA actually. So you guys check that out. Okay. All right, so proper engagement. So I don't know how everybody interacts on social media, but me personally, I noticed back in the day, I used to like go straight to the DMs and be like, hey, what's up? Blah, 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 blah. And I wouldn't get a response back. But when I started commenting on the post, I would get more engagement on the post from the supervisor, from the sync agent, from whoever the exec is, or even another collaborator for whatever reason. But not only, you also get a chance to see who they're interacting with as well. So whether that's on LinkedIn, I love to use LinkedIn for things like that, because this is a cheat code for y'all. So check this out. So of course, everybody has like their title on LinkedIn. So like, oh, if they're a professional, they usually have, oh, my name is this, and they do such and such and such and such. So while they're commenting on their peers or colleagues' post, that person is going to see the post possibly. But not only that, their peers are going to also see that post. And so you can see also who's posting and reposting and be like, oh, they work at so-and-so, so-and-so, or they do so-and-so, so-and-so. Oh, let me connect with them. And then, say hello to them on the post, reply on the post. And you just never know what to come from that. A couple of things came from that when I did that before. And I was like, okay, no more DMs, only on the post. Got you. And then on Instagram, if you want to get into somebody's DMs per se, you comment on a post that they posted on their story, because then it will go straight to the DMs. Usually they'll see that quicker than they will see just a random like DM message. And you can just like, go in from there. But like I said, know who you're interacting with, and, take your time to know what you're getting ready to say, things that they've previously worked on, things that they're currently working on. So you're not saying that like has nothing to do with them, because they're gonna look at you like, yo, this person doesn't know what they're talking about. Delete. So you want to make sure you're like bringing some type of resource to them, even if it's just saying hi, hello, and then just taking it from there. Okay. And then this pretty much goes into the follow-up of a segue for knowing when to check in and when to follow up. So say if you sent an email, or say if you sent that DM, if they don't answer back, it's crazy. And I hope none of you have done this. And if you have, this is for you. It's like the best thing to do is like maybe comment on another post, or to say, hey, I hope you're doing well. It was great to see your workshop, or it was great to see that you just landed the movie or film, whatever the case is, right? You do stuff like that, because if you say, hey, I sent you a message, did you get it? They're gonna be like, yo, listen, they have families. They also, have to get gas if they drive. So they got to go to the pump and see that gas is $20 a gallon right now for you who are in California. And so they're dealing with like a lot of different things, maybe kids, work is one thing, their own thing that they're going through. So we have to be mindful that they're not just robots waiting for emails to come in and to just respond so quickly. So just being mindful of that, and that they have their own thing that they got going on. They get tons of emails every day, tons of calls every day, meetings and things of that nature. And so you just want to make sure that you're not being a quote unquote like a pessimistic type of person, because then that they're gonna remember that. Like, if anything else, they're gonna remember the people who didn't, do right or follow through and use like a life skill tactic to get their attention. So like me personally, when I go out and I'm meeting different execs, I never talk music. I'm always, if there's somebody new and I don't know them and they let me know that they do music, it has just happened actually. I got invited to an event. I didn't know what I was going to, but the person who invited me, I really look at them as a valuable person. So I was like, yo, if you're inviting me, I'm definitely pulling up. So I go and I'm talking to this girl and we're just chopping it up. And she's like, yeah, what do you do? And, I'm like, well, I do a lot of things. And then it got back to her. She was like, oh, she said, I'm a music supervisor. And I was like, oh, great. Well, I kind of help you out a little bit, because before people get to you, I let them know what things to have in order. Like metadata, is your metadata great? Do you have your one-stop agreements? Are you using examples? And she was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. We appreciate you. And then like, she was like, yo, what's your information? And like, so she just wanted to reach out and like talk to me. And like I said, she didn't hear my music. That's another like thing that I was telling you guys about. I didn't send her no links, but we just talked and I had some value to give to her to let her know, hey, look, I let people know about this and sync licensing and blah, 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 blah. And that caught her attention. And she was like, yo, let's be friends. So I didn't know she was, and like I said, I didn't know who she was. I didn't know she was a music supervisor till after. So now I just created another relationship. So when you guys go out, make sure you being cognizant of who you're talking to, what they're saying, what they do, so you can be like, okay, cool, I know how to build a relationship with you based on the things that I do. Going back to the other slide, what is your superpower? Like, what are you good at? What do other people say that you're good at? Present those things to the people that you meet when you're out at conferences, even if it's online, because everybody can't make it to, conferences that's, all over the place. But definitely do your due diligence. Like I have here, like talk travel, I talk food, I talk current events with these people. Like, and people love when you take their mind off of work, because when they're at work, they're not happy for the most part. They're like, "Yay, I'm at work. Let's do it. I got 1,000 emails to respond back to." And then they got to chase down people and chase down, percentages. Somebody is missing 2% off the split sheet. Like, stuff like that makes them go crazy. So if you come talking music to them, they're gonna be like, bro, like, oh no, I just left work. Now I'm here talking to work again. So I talk things that has nothing to do with music. And if they want to talk about it, cool. That's what you did. But I'm not going to be the initiator to bring it up. So be thoughtful of that. And that is it. Thank you to the Pandion Music Foundation, and thank you for everyone that's in attendance. I'm glad that you all were here. Hopefully you got something out of this. And let me stop sharing and come back to the meeting.
Well, that was great, Jared. I feel like you covered a lot of like etiquette kind of ways to communicate, and that can go for any genre. So really, I mean, it's just what we hear even from supervisors, get to know what I'm working on, and even from like sometimes some of the groups that are leading and coaching, like 2ND, they say, get to know, what this person might like, and just like you said, just become more personable. And I think that's just a great thing for life in general,
For
for
sure.
people and connecting. So I totally hear you, and I think all of us, it's always great to get that reminder, or if you don't know about that, it's good to hear, from someone like Jared, who takes the time to make these relationships, and that's part of it. Would you say, what's your percentage, the amount of time you spend, doing research on the supervisor or what they're working on, or that kind of thing? Do you have like a percentage in mind, or do you just kind of wing it?
I wing everything. I operate off of emotion. So if I feel like doing something, I will. If I don't, I won't. I'm a person who, I don't work myself. I'm not with the grind culture. Me personally, I'm not with grind culture where I got to stay up and do all this. And I did all the 5 a.m. in the morning studio sessions, smelling like smoke, and I don't smoke. Coming back home, they probably like, bro, you been smoking? I'm like, nah, I was in a session. But I've done all of that stuff, so it makes me feel like, okay, let me just do what I can from home. And maybe I don't know if anybody knows Brian Kennedy. He's a Grammy Award winner, producer, songwriter. So I was with him the other day, and he was like, Monday and Friday are his wellness days. And he takes time to meditate and just be with himself and like figure things out health wise. Because if you don't have health, you don't have wealth, and you don't have anything else. You can't make music. So, and then he said Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are his days. Like he does, all the music, the creation, all the craziness and stuff like that. But Monday, Friday, it's like business reach out, and it's also just like taking time to meditate and then taking time for self. And I was like, bro, you don't understand how that resonated with me. And I hope it does with you all. And if you don't do it, like maybe try it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's always going to be work to do. Always. No matter what project you finish, there's going to be another project. So you're never really going to get it done. So if you take time to like relax, take time to just chill out, go outside, look at the trees. If you can hear birds, I don't know where everybody lives at, but if you can see those things in nature, like go and do that just for a little bit and breathe. And
Jared,
your nose out through your mouth,
yeah, you brought up something that I want to invite our community here today, and just everyone who follows Pandion. We have started this wellness hour, or anywhere from half an hour to 1 hour. It's a mindfulness wellness hour. It's called Pandion Unplugged. It's a live stream on Facebook and Instagram. Happens every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So come and join us, because this is exactly falls into this wellness, meditate, find places, find ways to get out of your head, find places to bring more of your heart into your music or whatever you do in your day to day. And so we have somebody in our group here today that will be leading one at some point. Jessie Kerrigan will be leading one. And I did one yesterday, and we had Cinder do the week before, but we have some super professionals that have written books and everything that are going to be doing. So I just want to let you know, please tune into that. And I'm going to open it up for questions. We have somebody, Patrick is going to ask right now. I'm going to, yeah, go ahead, Patrick.
Hey, Jared, pleasure to meet you, man. Thanks for taking the time today. And I completely agree with the wellness. I'm a coach as well as a music producer, so I help artists, and it's so important to stay grounded. So thanks for that. But my quick question is, I was just reading on your Sounds Better profile, about 40 placements. That's awesome. So do most of those come directly through relationships, like with music supervisors, or are you represented with a sync agency, or like how do you land most of those?
Most of them have been through relationships that ended up having sync houses, so like boutique music libraries, and then they just like, hey Jay, what's up, man, send me some music. And they'll pitch, of course we don't know when they're pitching or what they're pitching to, but then like sometime like later on down the line, it might be a year later, then I'll get a email, hey man, congratulations, you got a placement. I'm like, yo, that old record that I sent you a long time ago.
Yeah, totally.
So
yeah, there's oftentimes like a 2-year even time horizon between. So are you writing specifically to briefs often, or you're just creating music all the time and just sending it in?
So I would say more than half was stuff that I just wrote.
Right.
And some of it was with sync in mind, and a lot of it wasn't. Like, to be honest, I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but you know how a lot of people say if you have like old records on your hard drive, get them off. Like I had records from 2017 that I pitched, and like they got landed. I'm just like, what? Like I was surprised, even though it's my music, I shouldn't be surprised. But at the same time, I know it didn't sound good because, like I said earlier, I know quality. And I'm like, bro, that wasn't it, bro. But it landed. So I'm just like, okay. So it's like, a lot of times I also have a lot of stuff with CBS, which is now Paramount, and Viacom's library. So I have a lot of uses of music from supervisors just reaching in their library and then placing it on different networks as well. So
those would be exclusive?
Those are, well, I can't resell those, so it's exclusive to their company, yeah. And so if any sync agent or library wants to, or supervisor wants to use it, then they just pay that blanket fee where they can just go in and just, dip and take whatever they want per usage or whatever.
Cool. Yeah. So last question. So when you are writing for sync specifically, or just writing in general, are there certain guidelines where maybe you don't use cuss words, or you don't use specific times or places? Because some of those things will immediately eliminate you from sync possibility. Is there some guidelines that you use?
I'm glad you said that, because I don't do any cussing in my music. And then a lot of people say, oh, if you do have it, make sure you have a clean version. But if you have a clean version, you might as well just make a clean version, right?
Totally.
Like, no, I've never seen a brief that says, yeah, make sure you got cuss words in there. So if that's the case, just do clean every time. And then let me just clarify, when I say clean, it doesn't mean like bleep it out or like take the word out. It actually means fill that word in with a word. Right. So just for everybody who's here, it's like not the edited for the radio version where they just bleep it out. I'm like, yo, what they say? It's like we all know what they said. We put a word there. So briefs like those, So clean versions all the time. You asked something else. What was it?
Well, just if sometimes if you put like a time or a certain specific place, that will disqualify you from some brands they don't want to be associated with,
Exactly. Like saying like it was a hot summer day, like that's cool.
That's cool because that's universal.
But what if in the scene that they like every other lyric before it led up to there was talking about something that they wanted to put in a film that's raining, But then here you come and
Right.
say on a hot summer day, it's just like, ooh, which might be okay. But I would stay away from doing like my red car or your blue eyes, because maybe they have brown eyes in that scene. And so it kind of takes away from what the scene would be. And they'd be like, wait, what the song say? But what the heck? They got on sunglasses or something, you know what I'm saying? So stuff like that. I really try not to say cities unless I'm saying like, let's travel down to Vegas or let's have a good time like we're in Vegas. Something like that, because then everybody knows the actual like environment of how Vegas is. It's like partying, drinking, and good times with friends, blacking out, waking up in the morning like, yo, what? So if you say party like we're in Vegas, that's okay, because you can be in Kentucky talking about party like we're in Vegas.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
for sure, man.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
thank you, Patrick.
Jesse's next with a question. Jesse?
Hey, thanks, Jared. I really appreciate you coming on and doing this. Very cool stuff. And I echo all of those things that you said about building relationships. I've found that to all be true. So great stuff. I was going to ask you, like, with your expertise in hip hop and R&B, like, do you see things where there's like, I find so many things where there's kind of like a mashup, right, of genres, where there's like hip hop, but it's got like some kind of like, it's got like a Latin flavor, or it's got like a rock flavor, or like some orchestral stuff, depending on the usage. Like, do you find that there's call for that, and do you do some stuff like that as well, as just kind of like straight up like hip hop R&B?
So about a week ago, actually, I got like a brief that said something about like alternative or like swagger rock, which is kind of like hip hop based. And then that also comes into the department of the sports energy hip hop. And so like if you can do that, which it might be like some stumps and claps, and then like an electric guitar to give it that, rock or alternative feeling. But then when the vocals come on and add that fusion of hip hop, then boom, you got an actual fusion. And then I think they call that swagger rock or alternative hip hop. They have different names for it. But yeah, that's definitely a thing for sure.
Nice. That's awesome. That's something I'd love to do more of, because like I'm kind of more on the rock side of things.
Okay.
Like, but I love hip hop, and like I love the energy of that, and it like mashing that stuff up would be cool. So it's cool to hear that there's like a place for that.
Hey,
Thanks.
my internet just went a
Thank
little
you.
weak. So
Okay, thank you, Jesse. So Gennaro, you're next. I asked you to unmute. Go ahead.
Yes.
Hi.
Cool. Hey, what's up, Jared?
greetings,
How's everything?
man. What's up?
Good, chilling.
All right, good to see
Thank
you.
first, thanks for doing this. Grateful to be here. You mentioned your records from like 2017 that you pulled out the hard drive and start pitching. Now being that you didn't create those with like sync in mind, understanding that there's like a formula in sync where records are like growing, there's like transitions, orchestral effects, maybe things like that. Now, do you go back into those sessions, maybe tweak the mix, add, or anything like that, or do you just pitch them as is?
I'll listen, and if it's too much work and they just want something that sounds like the topic that they were looking for, and they just say, yeah, just send anything. A lot of that stuff back in the day, I wasn't doing any transitions. I didn't understand, like I didn't know about, variations and transitions and have a bridge all the time. So a lot of that I didn't incorporate it. So, and they still landed. But since I know now, I definitely always do transitions or do a bridge or do like a quick 2-second intro and then straight into the hook or straight into the first verse, whichever one comes off stronger. That'll gain the attention, because when supervisors go through music, they pretty much like, if you don't catch them in the first 10 or 15 seconds, they're on to the next song. If they're nice, they might go to 30 seconds, go to 56 seconds, go a minute and 24 seconds, and just to hear like, what are you doing in your record.
Yeah. Cool. And then one more question. You mentioned like going to conferences and things like that. If you had to choose like let's say 2 out of all the many conferences that are happening, there's like the one that you mentioned, there's NAMM coming up in January, I think, South by Southwest, all of these. Like what do you like, where do you recommend starting?
So well, when you say starting, I would start in hopes that everyone has your music together. I'm gonna answer this question that D Musso has. She was talking about metadata and their metadata tips. So it's pretty much like having all your business in line, having all your music together, and then once I have that, that's when I go to what I was talking about, the social media, reaching out and learning who I'm talking to, and then I'll go to the Kill the Music Supervisors event that's here in LA, because that's pretty much where all like the superheroes of sync goes pretty much. And so you want to be there representing yourself and putting a name to the face or face to the name. And so they can be like, oh, you're the guy that, or you're the girl that, or you're the person that, yeah, hey, I'm here in the flesh. How you doing? You know, I caught a plane ride over here just to meet you guys. Like, they remember that.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
But let me answer your other one, because you asked for two. So I'll say the Guild of Music Supervisors. I've never been to Durango, but I would probably go to Durango.
Nice. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Jared, let's go to Durango, the next one.
They actually have one in Colorado coming up.
Yeah, they do. I couldn't make that one, but the one in LA next, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to the one that's coming up next year in Ventura. So
yeah. Okay, so Erica, Simone, you're up next. And I know we have a few questions in the chat, but I want to get through some of these hands up. So I'm asking you to unmute Erica. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, one more time.
Erica, can you hear us?
No, not, I was just talking and I just knew I was off mute.
Okay.
There we go.
So thank you guys for hosting this. Really appreciate the insight. I think I'll be bugging you more, Jared, on some personal time. But I would like to know, it sounds like you're doing a lot of this independently, which is amazing, and I love this for you because less splits, more for you, one-on-one engagements, possibly building your own library one day. Right now, and this is for everyone, anybody, throw it in the chat too. If you have a favorite music house, or if you are familiar with like solid music houses that are actually doing good work, up and coming, established, do you have some of your favorite music libraries, and what are they really quickly, off the top of your head?
So since I'm doing hip hop, I would say Control Camp is a good one. CTRL. They helped me immensely during the pandemic, like get a lot of information in my system. So Eric Campbell. Madden Flow Entertainment, Rashad Richardson. Who else? Audio Vibes, if you can meet somebody over there, Jason. I'm with a couple of other ones too, but I'm with APM, I'm with Crucial and things of that nature because somebody else got me there. But yeah, I work by myself a lot, or with my brothers. So like you said, it's less splits and stuff that they got to go through. And once I have all that business together, I don't have to worry about chasing anybody down or trying to like, oh, how many percents are we doing? I always do split sheets, everybody.
Split sheets. I was about to say split sheets.
Always do your one-stop agreements in a session. And keep mindful of that. If that's your friend, make sure y'all stay friends because business will make y'all stay friends. You don't want to fall out over a verbal contract. You want to make sure everything is on paper and is documented and everybody has an understanding and they have, just equity and fair share. You know what I mean? Like that means so much.
Right. It'll go in the long run for developing relationships. So if people know that you're easy to work with and your split sheets are easy to go, then they'll want to collaborate with you more. So yeah, I took some notes on that. That sounds amazing. And again, thank you for the opportunity. Just was looking for some, and if people know or don't know, I think Issa Rae is trying to do something too. I'm gonna get a little bit nosy on that. But definitely I love Citral. It's amazing to know you're with CPM. Like, wow, these are good things that I wasn't even looking at. So thank you for that. And everybody keep Rebecca, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate you, Queen. All right, I'm going on mute.
All right, Bubba, you're up. I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Uh-oh, I just lost my video. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Your icon is amazing, by the way. Thank you, Bubba.
Thanks. All right. Jesse, thanks for doing this. Really appreciate you. Appreciate you. Hey, so my question is, you said earlier that you were brought up in the church, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you were brought up early in the church, that means and if you were at a gospel or a Baptist church, that means you were probably one of the musicians. Am I right?
Yeah, and I was at all of them, and I was a musician at pretty much more than all of them, like more than half. Yeah, yeah.
Did you play an instrument?
Yeah. Piano and then drums. The set. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds about right. That
Yeah.
sounds about right. Okay. My question is, as far as LA, were you originally from LA, or did you move there because of the music, or what?
Originally here, I didn't have any say so. I woke up here, and I don't remember waking up here because I was, of course, a baby, but born and raised here in LA.
All right. And in your opinion, as far as communicating with supervisors or whomever through social media, do you think that's realistic, as opposed to, I know you were talking about face to face and so on, and building relationships. As far as doing it online, what's your feeling around that?
That's the initial part of where it all starts. Because if you know them online, you're pretty much going to see them and notice them when you do see them in person. So I think online would be the best to start. Whether you're here in LA or not, it's still good to, put, like I said earlier, like put that name to the face and put the face to the name. So when you do connect with them in real time, they're like, oh yeah, I actually remember you.
Okay. All right. Once again, like I said, I appreciate you.
Hey,
Thanks.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Take care.
Okay.
Thank you. And do you want to ask any of the questions in the chat? I know you've been keeping track. You're so good about that.
Yes. Yeah, we have some questions in the chat. It's so from Dean Musso, just asking what your favorite library sites are, some that are cheap and provide max exposure once the song is done. They noted already Pandora, playlist, if you have any other recommendations, and also metadata tips when listing, sorry.
Yeah, so it all depends. Certain executives or networks look for songs that are released or unreleased. It all depends on if they're doing exclusive or non-exclusive. I will say this, it's becoming a new trend now that they're looking for more artist-based artists that are performing, that are releasing music, that have a brand, they have followers. It's not necessarily always a deal breaker, but they're looking for more people who taking their music more serious. So if you're in front of people, they're actually looking for that. So if anybody is on here, they do any type of performance, you're already ahead of the game because that's what they want to see. As far as metadata tips goes, so I kind of want to show it low key, but for me, I'm a iPhone and iTunes user. So if you use Windows Media, it's pretty much the same. But let me see if I can go. How much time we got? We got 5 minutes or what?
Yeah, we have 5 minutes.
Okay. Let me see if I could. I kind of want to show y'all how my metadata is on my iTunes. Possible. Can y'all see that?
Yes.
Y'all can see my iTunes. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
So let's go to back for more wins. So I will go to like the 3 dots that's here and then click get info. And then here I have all my metadata in there. So this is the title on the artist. This is my buddy who composed it. And usually I can put here at this part, people say like to put your PRO information, whether if you're like ASCAP and put your IPI, put the genre. You always want to have the BPM, but this is where it gets in your favor at the comment section. And make sure it's an AIF file or MP3 file because all this information will not travel once you send it out with a WAV file. So make sure you always check which one that you're sending out, and you can check it by going to file and it'll let you know which one it is right here. So I'll let them know, okay, boom, you're getting ready to listen to a sports hip hop anthemic, lyrics are included and it's unreleased. So the lyrics, I always import them in here and it will actually show up. You know, this is the essence of the theme, what it's talking about, determined empowerment. Empowerment is a big one right now that's out there. I don't know how long it's going to be going, I guess forever, because everybody needs empowerment. And then always have your contact information, always. And then I like to just be extra out and put that as one stop, because then they can be like, oh, great. And then if you can, put a little artwork. It can be like minor, like real simple, but still have it there instead of just like the iTunes emblem, if that makes any sense.
Yes, Jared, just now that you're here, the character count needs to be what again? 250
Let's
in
see.
the notes area.
Let me
Otherwise,
see.
it'll get, so maybe put your contact information first for anybody who's not sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
if you look it up, I think there is a character count maximum.
for sure it is. Yeah, yeah. But
Perfect.
yeah, definitely put email, because sometimes we can change numbers like real fast. Like tomorrow we can change numbers. We won't change email so fast. So I always make sure that email is there, because they just might reach out to you and they need to know like, yo, is this song still available? They'll reach out and see. And so definitely have that information locked into your AIF or MP3 file.
Thank you. That was very, very nice little quick, metadata thing. I know that is there any more in the chat, Anai, that we
Yeah,
haven't?
about 3 more questions. I know we have 2 more minutes left. And Patrick, I know you have a question.
Are you okay going over just a
Yeah,
little?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. From Janet Rodriguez, do agencies look at projects for genres like experimental hip hop, such as Chicago footwork or juke? This was earlier in the conversation.
Okay. Yeah, I think they do. I don't know how much, but is that like is Chicago footwork and juke, is that like disco type of like I don't know how that sounds.
It's gonna be like up tempo, upbeat, two-step, Detroit, Chicago two-stepping sound.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they look for that. That might even be more of an ads commercial type of thing to do. It's a lot of upbeat and up pace and two-step type of records that are used for ads. So if you guys are watching TV and you see a commercial, definitely pay attention to the commercials that come on and pay attention to the music that they use. So you can be like, oh, okay, I see what's the word I'm looking for? The continuity of different commercials and what type of music that they use within their commercials.
Yeah, great. And then just another quick question from Caroline Moore. If you connect with someone at a conference, is it okay to exchange your information, or should you just get their name and research before reaching out?
I mean, if you connect with them at the conference, that's the connection right there. And then just like I said, like ask them, how are they doing? What are they like? When is their next travel date, or where they going? Like I said, I'm not gonna talk music, so whatever you like, talk about something that that you like, and then see if they have some type of interest in that, and then you can go on from there and like try to sway the conversation, but make sure it's like I call it like a double dutch, where it's kind of like you're not just in it, but you're like going, like waiting and seeing like, okay, cool, do I go back, do I go front, like what are they saying? That's when I go forward, and things of that nature. So it's kind of like a quick jab and listen, and then be like, okay, cool. What did you like about when you traveled there? How was the food and things of that nature? People love it, because now you're taking them back to paradise, and they remember that, and they want to talk about their lovely experience that they had. And then that it also goes to the social media part, where if you look on their page and you can see that they just recently traveled somewhere, you can be like, oh, how was it when you went to Greece? Oh my gosh, I want to go. And they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, you got to go to this place. Oh man, you got to stop over here. Now you just got a friend. And then later on, you're gonna be like, you just never know where the relationship will go. And that was without talking about music. So
Perfect. Yes. And then 2 final questions from Paul Melancon. Can you talk shop about finding agreements and getting your paperwork straight, especially one-stop split sheets?
So let's say that me and Paul do a record and he does the instrumental, I'm doing the vocals. And if it's only him that's doing the production, then for me, I'm like, okay, you're 50% of this co-write, of this composition, of the publishing, of the master and everything, and I'm 50% of the same as the vocalist. We'll do a 50-50 split. We'll do the one stop, which will have our names, our PRO information, our publishing information if we're published by anybody. And then we'll also have at the bottom like, yo, me and Paul both have the authorization to pitch this song. Whether that's exclusively or non-exclusively, we have to agree on that. And then once we become on an agreeable term, then we both sign and date. And then we both can pitch that on our own behalves of different libraries or different sync agencies or executives or what have you.
Perfect. And just for the sake of time, I know there's a couple more questions in the chat. Just to confirm, Jared, you are doing the AMA, right?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. Yes. So if there are any other questions that we didn't get to, just because I want to make time for Patrick, he's had his hand raised for a while. Any other questions that we didn't get to, we are having an Ask Me Anything section on our Creator Circle on Facebook. So I'm going to go ahead and link that right now. We always, we always provide you all an opportunity to ask any other questions after the workshop with the mentor. So Jared will be able to ask or answer any of your questions this week. And Patrick, you could go ahead and unmute and then we can start to wrap it up. I'll just link the Facebook page right now.
Cool. Yeah, Jared, just one last question about metadata. So I use Disco and I'm not sure what you use to send your tracks out, like if you're going through iTunes, but if my metadata is solid in Disco, I should be all right. Is that?
Yes, in the notes, it acts the same as the metadata for Apple. So you just have to also follow that
right
character count amount. So, you know, and also I think there was an agency, some people are not putting a space between their commas. I heard from an agency, it's very important you put that space in. So just remember the character count. I don't know what it is, it's 2 something. And as long as that's the top of your notes, you're good.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Yeah. But just to like expand on that, I still do my metadata within iTunes and then I do tagging that I didn't use in my iTunes, because what if they download that song? I don't think that metadata from Disco travels along with it once it's on their computer and they want to utilize it.
Jared,
yeah, exactly.
That's a good thing to look into. You know who's really good? A good advice on that is Sync Summit.
Mark.
Mark covers that constantly, and so does Michelle McLeison. So if any of you in our community want to do a little further research on that, I would go to Sync Summit and bring that up. If not, we can also elaborate a little bit more, Jared, you and I, through Ask Me Anything on the metadata once we do a little more research. I don't know if you feel comfortable about that or not.
That's fine, yeah.
So we could do that. But I think it's an important discussion, and it keeps changing. You know, like according to some people, they'll say, in the end, it doesn't matter, but it does matter, because we were talking to Josh Young when he was in the process of editing, and it showed right away who the people that popped up first were the ones that have their metadata down really key and tight. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay. And SMAC or SMAC.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna you know, do this. You know, move on to saying thank you, Jared, for coming in today and with a big, beautiful smile and attitude and big heart and sharing. You know, I mean, so much more. You gave us lots today. You gave us, you know, the etiquette of talking to people, and also how to bring your heart into this, but also all the cool production stuff you brought with us. So thank you. I think everyone loved your workshop today and loved your presentation. I think that if you want to share any of that in your, you know, when we do Ask Me Anything, that I bet people would like that. And yeah, any metadata information that we can that we can keep the conversation go with Ask Me Anything. I also want to ask all of you in our community, and I'm going to try to remember this every time, please, 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 if you have anything amazing to say about Pandion, or you want to say, give us a blurb about, you know, what it's meant for you or what it's helped you in, send it to us. You can messenger Pandion, you could email Pandion, so let us know. We would love to get your feedback so we could use that for our metadata, so we can get some good donations in. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone, and thank you, Jared. I went ahead and dropped the Creator Circle Facebook group link on the chat. Any of you all want to go ahead and join that? I also dropped our email for those just amazing comments you all have to give us. And you can always just DM us on Instagram or Facebook, and we keep track of those comments on there as well. But we would greatly appreciate it.
And Jared, could you put in the chat your Instagram handle or your social handle, and then everyone can follow you. I found you pretty easy, but anybody else might want to be quick search.
Yeah, it's just Jared Oluwa, just everywhere, pretty much.
Okay, wonderful, cool. All right, well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks,
Thank you for
Jared.
everybody for tuning in. Like they mentioned, the Ask Me Anything, just make sure if you didn't get your question answered, just tap in there and we'll go ahead and figure out from there. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here with you all and share and also learn as well. And that's what it's all about. It's not just me just talking. It's just like, yo, the bounce off, the ask, you know, the Ask Me and everything. It's like,
Right. Thank you, Jared. You're right. We learn, we give, we receive. It's a give and take, right?
exactly.
All right. Take care, everyone.
All right.
Bye.
Take care. Have a great day.